There we go. Okay. Awkward. Hello, everybody. Welcome to VRML. Almost season 4. This is a Q&A with our casters and moderators. It's going to be mainly a mod thing, but we're here just to add a little bit of fun and answer some questions on that end. I'm Palador, as you can see. That's Dimwee, as you can see. We got Gilligan, that's 3, and Arrow Knight. Cool as can be, in a box, mod in a box. You can buy it for $5.99 on VRML.com. Just kidding. So this is going to be a Q&A. We have a little list of things to do and discuss first. The actual question and answer session will be a little bit later afterwards. But without further ado, season 4 is coming along. So Dimwee, for the new people here coming into VRML, maybe haven't played in prior seasons, they're going to want to know how VRML works. So give us a quick little explanation and the process of getting into your first matches.
I mean, yeah, I could start there with just kind of what to expect in your first week if you are new here at VRML. I am Matsuya Dimwee. Of course, I never say it how it's spelled because that would be improper. That makes sense, I assure you. But yeah, no, the first week starting tomorrow. It is Sunday. Today is Sunday, so tomorrow at noon Eastern. Right about noon, give or take, you'll have matches released. You got to make sure that you set your team active on the website. If you did that a week ago, you got to do it again because all the teams were just set inactive. So if you have not done that in the last, 24 to 48 hours, you're going to want to go and do that because if you don't do that, you will not get your matches tomorrow at noon. But when those go out, you'll see there'll be a big list over on the VRML website on the matches page. And you'll see your team's games right up at the top there. And that's where you're going to schedule them. Now, be careful. Don't click the scheduling button until you have worked out a time with the other team, because once you set that, both teams are going to get notified in Discord. People are going to get pinged, and people are going to get notified, and it's going to look like it's an official time set. So you let it sit at the default time. It's something like 8 a.m. on Monday. You just let it sit there until you come to an agreed time with that other team. Then you set that time, and then you play at that time. You get together and you play. You want to make sure you get together at the time agreed upon. If you don't show up at that time, if you agree to that time and you don't show up, you're going to get a forfeit for it. You want to make sure you show up at the time agreed upon, and then you play the game. We do best of 3. All the rules are basically automatically set. There have been some interesting rule changes in this offseason that Arrow Knight will get to in a few minutes here. But yeah, that's kind of, you want to make sure you get that all scheduled out and played. You want to make sure it gets scheduled before Friday. You want to get that scheduling done before Friday, and then as long as it's played before the matches are released on the following Monday and scores are submitted. Yeah, and you want to make sure once the game is played, you want to submit those scores as soon as possible. And then the next week we do it again. You get 2 matches every week from VRML, and then you have an optional challenge match every week, which means there's a certain range of teams that you can challenge each week, and one of those teams, if they accept that challenge, you can play a third official game during the week. So that's kind of how the week to week is going to work out there. You want to make sure you never play with fewer than 3 proper roster players. You're only going to ever have access to 1 league sub. If you need them, and there's you can go to the VRML website, the rules page. It's extensive. It's very nuanced in particular, but every rule there is to know and follow is in that document there. And that's how it's going to work week to week for most of the teams. Of course, we've also got a kind of a structured system. I guess I can move into the second topic right on the back of that, and that is kind of the format of VRML and how things work here. Now, I'm sure most of you are aware of there's a master tier division, and then there's the ladder, the MMR ladder. And you play your 2 games every week. It's based off of your MMR rating, and that the higher the MMR of the team you're playing, if you beat them, you get a bigger jump, and if you lose against them, you get a smaller drop because they were ranked so much higher than you. And so that's kind of how that works out. It's a standard MMR system. If you Google that a little bit, you find any general explanation for an MMR ladder will kind of work out exactly how our MMR ladder works. And then, of course, that goes all the way up to, you've got your different divisions there. Bronze, it goes into silver, which goes into gold, which now goes into platinum, and then that goes up into diamond. Platinum, obviously the new division being added as well. Each division has 4 tiers. So you're going to have silver 1, 2, 3, and 4. and they do ascend just like that, all the way up and down the ladder. So if you're starting at the very bottom, you'll be starting in bronze 1, then bronze 2, bronze 2, 3, bronze 4. Then you work up into silver, silver 1, 2, 3, 4, etc., all the way up to diamond 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then from there, of course, we have you can work your way into master tier if you get into the top X spots. I believe it's 6 this season. We do have a what's called the Challenger Cup. It's a relegation tournament at the end of every cycle. One cycle is 5 weeks long. And that's based on the number of teams in Master Tier and their matchups there. They play in a round robin system. So at the end of 5 weeks, if you're in the top 6 on the ladder, you get put into a weekend tournament. That is it's a double elimination. Top 6 from the ladder, bottom 2 from Master Tier, and the top two teams from that double elimination tournament over those 2 days will go into Master Tier for the next cycle. That's kind of the big change for the Challenger Cup. We used to do the round robin. We no longer are doing round robin for the Challenger Cup. It is now going to be a double elimination tournament, which was generally agreed upon by most of the community. And then, of course, Master Tier, still 10 teams. You're going to be playing 9 games during a cycle. So that's you'll have 4 games. 4 weeks with 2 games apiece, and then that 5th week of 1 game, and then of course that goes into the off week where the Challenger Cup happens. And just like last season, the finals is going to be all 10 teams. So then of course that final Challenger Cup will basically be a qualifier for those last 2 spots. Just make sure I'm going to go over this checklist, make sure I covered everything. The Challenger Cup, Master Tier. One major change to Master Tier as well is the top 4 teams in each cycle. Where you place those top 4 teams will be earning prizes at the end of the cycle for that placement. What the prizes are specifically is not yet known, but that's how that's going to work out. So if you finish first in the cycle, there's no tournament to go to at the end of the first cycle. You're going to win prizes for that first position, second, third, and fourth up there in Master Tier. And I believe that is everything. Of course, we have the Master Tier qualifier. It's the first time we've done that. That's going on right now. Of course, we're continuing that in just over 2 hours here in North America. Really excited for that. So make sure you come back and watch that. See who's going to be in the Master Tier for North America. And yeah, I believe that is everything that I have on this list here as far as the format for VRML. Of course, the finals is going to be a double elimination tournament, and just the finals are going to happen on October 23rd and 24th. That's the weekend before Halloween.
All right.
Yeah, I think that's everything.
All right. Thank you, Dimwee. And again, everyone watching on the Twitch there, you have questions. Well, there are some of our moderators currently in the Twitch chat, 1. But 2, you can also save them for a little bit later after all of us are kind of done with our whole spiel. We're going to get to some Q&As to end this. For as long as there's some questions, including who would win between Pally and Dimwee in a 1v1. Curious. That said, before I hand it off here to Air Knight, I do want to thank everyone in the chat because we do have hype trains that have started here as we get started the new season. So real quick, thank you to, let's see, Gilligan, Psychaotic with some tier 1 subs. There's a couple of our mods there. AXN Dash or Action Dashin. For the resubscription as well. Some more from Psychaotic and Gilligan. We had Snipe Dash with 100 bits. We had several people joining the VIP section there. Just gives you a little badge, a Twitch badge. So if you guys redeem that while I'm shut up here in my corner, I'll be redeeming rolls if anyone happens to want to spend the 20K and get a nice little Twitch badge in your chat for the remainder of Season 4. You can get that in the channel rewards. So yeah, Cyanide also did that as well. We had Cloyd with 100 bits. And VR Master League main channel rated us. So hello if you happen to still be here. That was like 8 minutes ago. And I think that covers it. Nate Appleton as well with some bits and bits and bits. And bit by bit, we're getting through this one. So over to Aero Knight, I think wants to discuss some of the rule changes with the community.
Before he does, I want to say the longer you hang out in chat, the more likely you are to receive a gifted subscription to this channel because I and some others will be giving them out as we go. As Smooth Riding comes in with trying to reignite the rivalry, perhaps. Him and I had a bit of a gifted sub rivalry going the last season, as he just gave a ton of gifted subs to people.
I just saw that. Wow.
Thank you very much, Smooth Riding. So yeah, hang out in chat. The longer you listen to us talk, the more likely you are to get a gifted sub. So
yeah, cheers for that. And With that, I'm realizing I think my saturation's turned up. I look like I'm wearing lipstick. Oh well. Palador is dressed to kill today. Arrow Knight, what's up?
I think you have some catching up to do, Gil. Smooth just gave a whole bunch all at once.
That's all right. I'm saving mine for the end.
I have a big list of
10 of them,
rule
in
changes
fact.
to
Wow.
go over. So most of these are going to be important to people that are already familiar with the rules, but these are things that are going to be different for them. So the first one is that our procedure for what to do if you think someone is violating our ping cap rule has been updated. In previous seasons, we just said open a ticket with the moderators and available help. We now have a procedure on what to do if a moderator is not available. So if a mod does not respond to your ping within 15 minutes, you are encouraged to begin recording the match and then continue play. And after the match is over, you will submit a video of the match in a ticket if you still want us to take action. And then anytime the moderator sees someone violate the ping cap rules in a way that affects gameplay, we would assess a 4-point penalty for that. So the idea is to encourage people to sub if their ping is problematic, but still allow you to continue playing if you're pretty sure that your ping is not problematic, and allow the situation to be resolved without having to have a moderator on hand at all, since we are all doing volunteer work. So the next rule change is that matches must be scheduled at least 1 hour before the start time to make sure that casters have plenty of time to sign up for the matches, and we can get any match casted that we really want to. All the important hype matches, make sure you schedule those at least an hour before start time, preferably more. And the previous rule just said that scores should be submitted as soon as possible after the end of gameplay. You now have to submit your scores within 24 hours of the scheduled start time of your match. This is so that the next matches can submit their scores, the ladder can be updated correctly. And if your match is within 24 hours of match generation, you have to submit it before match generation. We're trying to make it smoother. We have less match to deal with on Sunday night where we have to figure out what the actual score was and get it entered, trying to streamline that entire process. The maximum time between rounds is 5 minutes total. So right by default in private matches, there's a 1 minute delay between. Anytime during a VRML match, you can press pause during that 1 minute, and at that pause, the timer on the board can go up to 4 minutes for a total of 5 minutes between round 1 and 2, or between round 2 and 3, or both. But the total time between rounds cannot exceed 5 minutes. We updated some screenshots of the podium to reflect the current version of the game with the goalie ping advantage option. And we also clarified that you can use goalie ping in a VRML match if both teams agree to use it. It is still experimental in private matches that is not on by default, but if you want to use goalie ping and both teams agree to it, you can use it. We also added a rule regarding eligibility for the Challenger Cup. So last season, we just turned off challenges for the entire last cycle so that no one could try to use a challenge to get into the Challenger Cup or gain an advantage by having more availability. We have changed that so that everyone that's not in contention for the Challenger Cup can challenge in that last week for the CC. But if you think you might be eligible for the Challenger Cup, you should not use a challenge, because if you played a challenge match in 5 of the cycle, you will not be eligible for the Challenger Cup. The same is true if you as a team postpone one of your week 4 matches so that you would be playing 3 matches in week 5. If you use that postponement in week 4, you will also not be eligible for the Challenger. So this doesn't affect any teams that are not directly in contention with the Challenger Cup. The idea is just to make sure that no one's trying to get an advantage with their placement in that last week of the cycle. Forfeits are now 10-0 instead of 20-0. The idea behind that is that we wanted double merging a team, which is an incredibly hard thing to do, to be worth more than them violating the rules badly enough for you to win. So the idea is that forfeits would be less impactful to the ladder. You're not going to jump up 20 spots because a team no-showed a match or something. Timeouts can now be taken for any reason rather than just technical timeout have been taken out of the rules. It's just a timeout. Each team has one they can use during the match in addition to extending the time between rounds. You can take it for any reason. You can do it to collect yourself in the middle of a round. You can do it out, reset their tracking. Any reason you can take a timeout during a match. In past seasons...
Arrow,
yes,
hang on a second.
What's up?
Naptime VR just gifted 10 tier 1 subs to our chat. Thank you very much for that. I don't know
Thank
who
you
that
very
is,
much.
but thank you very much.
Nap time. It's wide awake for me now. That's immense. The hype train level 4 looks like is just complete now. Thank you. That's super generous of you guys. Again, I guess on the subject of VRML, real quick, sorry, but for all our new people, this is community ran, by the by. All our casters, mods, creators, governors, board, otherwise, we all came directly from these games that VRML does support. So all the subs here and bits, donations on website, otherwise, again, you guys don't have to, but when you do, it's always appreciated. But just you guys tuning in, that's ace. I like it. Back to you, Arrow. Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks for all the gifted subs. We still have 4 minutes to get that last 25%.
Dash include
train.
AXN Dash just gave a couple more there. Gilligan as well, keeping it going and keeping Arrow Knight from talking. I'm sorry. Thanks.
Rules are boring.
Thanks,
They
guys.
don't
Though.
want to
Thank
do
you.
the exciting things like gifting subs.
So that's all right. Keep getting your word sneaks in. I got you guys.
All right. So the next rule change here is that if you take an illegal timeout, if you've already used your timeout and you press pause again, we will now assess a points penalty for that instead of just saying the other team. Because you can definitely use a pause to ice a team to try to break their rhythm. And if you're using illegal pauses, that can be somewhat of an issue. So instead of just saying the other team can unpause, we will now be assessing points penalties for those illegal timeouts. We also have updated the rules on the rights to names. If your team changes its name and someone else changes their team name to what your team name used to, you lost your rights to that team name. So be careful with changing your team name, because if someone else takes
Arrow.
it with their actual account. Yes.
I'm sorry. This justifies it. Egret just gave 20 tier 1 subs. Holy
you,
smokes, that's amazing.
And another 5 from nap time. It's just continuing. We're at 306% for the max hype train.
We're never gonna get through the rules at this rate. Wow, that's incredible. That might be I think I've seen 20 gifted subs one other time maybe, and that's it. That's like, I'm pretty sure that's tied for the most ever. So thank you. Like I said, you guys don't have to, but I mean, that's pretty dang hype. So hype that my hair won't stay in place, but
very appreciated.
Back to you, Arrow.
So master tier teams can now use any league substitute. MMR is specifically master teams because around robin. So even if the website says that a league substitute is quote out of range of a master, any league substitute. We've removed all restrictions on chassis color because the problematic colors were from the game with the release of Echo Pass. And VPNs are now allowed, provided you still follow the ping cap rules and do not connect and disconnect from it to a lag switch during the match. So the idea of this is that someone is having routing issues and they can use a VPN to fix that issue, they are allowed to, so long as they still follow all of the other ping rules and do not affect gameplay by their ping. The use of external objects is now prohibited. So that means anything along the lines of couches, step stools, whatever, to try to gain height or jump, that is prohibited. And this is the big one that I know a lot of people care about. Half cycling is also prohibited. So our definition of half cycling is using any sort of in-game rotation, roll, pitch, or yaw, to change a motion that is not for you in line to be in line with your direction of travel. So if you are moving forwards and then you pitch backwards and duck so that you are ducking forwards, that is a half cycle. That is now legal, and penalties will be assessed for that. Same goes if you're moving sideways and you pitch so that you can duck sideways. So it's, as long as you are using rotation to then make a physical movement in your in-game direction of travel, that is considered a half cycle. So, for example, if you're moving forwards and then you roll sideways and duck, juke, that is legal. That is allowed. But if you are moving forwards and you roll and then duck so that you're getting momentum forwards, that is not allowed. And then our final just basic rule change is that reports made regarding a match must be made 48 hours from the match's scheduled start time. So you can't make a report of a match that happened 2 weeks ago and expect something to happen out of it. If you want to contest what happened in a match, you have to do so within 48 hours of the match's start time. So I saw some people asking about what the penalties are for half cycling. So that brings me to the big penalty system overhaul that we will be implementing. Details we release sometime this week, but there is a big overhaul of rule violations during the game and rule violations outside of the game. So the main thing that it introduces is a accumulated point, or AP. That is points you will be assigned every time you break the rules. So if you make an alternate account, or if you half cycle during a game, or if you no-show a match, you will be given accumulated
Okay, so sorry, Aaron, not to cut you out, but you happen to keep cutting out when you're saying what it's called.
Oh no.
They are accumulated points. That's what he keeps saying. That's they're known as AP. It's accumulated points. You've been cutting out a little bit through a lot of the presentation, but it was always in a way that your point was still getting across. But right there, you happen to keep cutting out when you were saying accumulated points. So the name of the thing you were talking about just kept getting lost. So that's what he's talking about. It's a new system. For shorthand, it's AP, which is short for accumulated points, which are bad. You do not want accumulated points.
You know who needs to cut it out? Nap Time just did another 10 tier 1 subs. Man, what? Thank you. That's incredibly generous and bringing in the hype again. I appreciate that tremendously. All of us do here at VRML, including Arrow Knight, who is thrilled that I keep interrupting him.
So.
Thank you, though.
So, like, as you get more accumulated points, you make progress toward penalties, longer and longer suspensions, and if you have a permanent ban from VRML. So accumulated points are bad. You do not want them, and you get them every time you violate a rule in or out of games. So we've also updated our penalty system for when rules are violated during a game. Last season, if someone broke the rules during the game, our main options were take no action or to give them a full match forfeit. We have added several options in between those two so that we can correctly address a rules violation without completely skipping straight to. So it's broken down into 6 tiers of what happens if you break a rule during gameplay. The first one is just a warning. You get a warning if you break the rule during gameplay, but did not affect the outcome of a single point, a single round, or a match at all. If what you did not affect gameplay, but you did technically, you get a warning. Tier 2 is a points penalty. Most violations are going to fit into this. If you violate the rules in such a way that it could have impacted the outcome of that violation, for that point, then you get a
cutting out a bit,
point penalty.
Quite a bit now, actually.
Not sure what will be causing that. Let me try something.
You just sounded much better right there.
Oh, maybe you are on the wrong mic. Do you have another mic like on your desktop or something?
I shouldn't. Let me check that really quick.
It seemed like when you leaned in, it sounded better. Maybe I'm just imagining it. I'm a very imaginative door.
What about this? How does this sound?
That's better.
Oh dear.
All right. We'll try that.
Blame me. I didn't do sound checks before. My bad.
All right. We'll try this. Okay. So if you violate the rule in general during a point, and it would have affected the outcome of that point, you get a points penalty, which is 4 points per violation. The idea of this is that if you violate the rules during a game, you get a larger points penalty than you could have ever possibly gained by violating the rules during that point. And the more times you violate the rules, the more points penalties you get. If you accrue points penalties such that your point difference in that match would be greater than a difference of 10 points, we escalate to the next tier. And you also escalate to this next tier if your rules violation could have affected the outcome of the entire round. For example, if you had an illegal spectator in the entire round, we escalate to this next tier, which is a round forfeit. If you've indisputably affected the outcome of an entire round, then you will get a 10-0 forfeit for that round. And the same is true if you get enough points penalties to change the outcome of that round past a 10-point points difference. So the next tier is a match forfeit. If what you've done has impacted the outcome of an entire match, or your accrued points penalties have gone past a 20-point difference, you get an entire match forfeit, which is 10-0 per round, or a total of 20-0 for the match. And then beyond that, we have tiers 5 and 6, which are suspensions and bans. And if you have repeated violations or violations severe enough to elevate to the governors, then we get towards these suspension and ban things. These things would be escalated to the governors and are less just set in stone. These are for very severe violations during a match. Things like match throwing, match fixing, they get escalated immediately, and we get to suspension and bans. And then on the non-gameplay side of things, there's several tiers of violations. There's the lowest tier where you get points where you need to violate the rules 3 or 4 times before you get any sort of penalties, but you are accumulated points, and those points serve as your warning. Tier 2, we get to the point where you do 2 of these violations and you're getting in suspensions. These are somewhat more serious violations. Tier 3, you're assigned points and you instantly get a suspension. A short 1-week suspension, but an instant suspension. So these are relatively serious violations. And then tier 4 is the very serious violations, like hacking the game or trying to circumvent game mechanics, breaking the code of conduct in a very severe manner, and we get instantaneous, longer suspensions. So more like a 3 to 6 week suspension immediately for these tier 4 violations. And all of these things are sorted into tiers such that we will have a list of things that you could possibly do and the punishments listed out for them. The exact point values of each of these violations and the point values at which you will get suspensions will be released sometime this week. But we just wanted to introduce this AP system to you so you can see what rules violations are going to look like next season. And I think I was just asked, yes, legal sidestepping within a 4x4 is still allowed as long as you're in a 4x4 play space. And I think the last thing I have to talk about is badge requirements. This season, it will be 10 games to get your VRML in-game badge. So it's last season was 15 games over 3 cycles. This is 10 games over 2 cycles. You have to play the same percentage of the season to get your badge as you did before. So I think I'll be kicking this over to Gilligan next to talk about our new support system and our new ticket system.
Yeah. So another note on the badges. People sometimes want to know where that number comes from. It's half the matches that are required for a team to play if you play every week of the season. So there's 10 weeks, 2 weeks per match. Or I'm sorry, 2 matches per week are assigned to a team. So if you play half of those, then you can get it. You can play up to 30 matches with challenges, and then even more than that with the cups and tournaments that we hold. As long as you play 10 matches, you can get the badge. So this new support server is something that we've been cooking up for a while here in the off season. Basically, if you've ever needed to make a ticket, then you know what our ticket system is like. If you go up to the create a ticket channel in the Echo Arena VRML server, there used to be a bot message there from Ticket Tool bot. If you reacted to that, it would open a private channel between you and the moderators, and you could get help or support from us and the moderator team to resolve your issues. And now, because we had over 4,000, we've dealt with almost 4,000 tickets since season 2 when the bot system was first implemented. We have decided to move that to an entirely new server, as well as bring in all of the support tickets from VRML's other games that are active right now, which would be Snapshot, Onward, and Pavlov. So all the tickets are in the same server. So it centralizes it for the moderators and the governors as a whole. But this also, what this does is we've revamped it so that you can, it's more like a phone tree where you call City Hall and you press 1 for this, you press 2 for that. It's kind of like that. There's several different options to go through, and depending on which path you choose, you get different information for you to read. Read the information. That's what it's there for. If you react with 1, it lets you go into a channel to ping moderators for ping monitoring during matches, which is a quick way to get in there. But if you go the route of option 6, then you want to report a rule violation in game. That will give you information about how to report it, what kind of things that we may need from you to deal with your issue, what kind of things we will and will not act on, things like that, so that hopefully you can resolve your issue on your own without us. But if not, then you can continue into the create a ticket channel, where you will then be able to open a ticket as normal and interact with one of the moderators or several of the moderators to help get your issue resolved. This is still a bit of a in beta phase, I would say, right now. There's a few, I think, like for example, earlier today, twice Carlbot went down, which it interfered with people's ability to get rolls based on reactions. It's back up now. There are a few things as far as like the categories and what you can click on, reasons for opening a ticket, that need tweaked a bit. But for the most part, we feel like this is going to be a much more efficient way for us to handle your issues, and also hopefully reduce the amount of tickets that we have to deal with overall, because we're providing you with the information, a lot of the information that you may need to resolve your issue on your own without needing our help on the moderation side. So the support server is there for you. It's there for us. Feel free to use it. We don't want to discourage anyone from using it. If you go to the created ticket channel now in the Echo Arena VRML server, you will now see a Discord link and an invite to that server. And that's where all of our tickets will be handled from now on. We are going to be requiring all captains of any team to be in that server. That is just to make everyone's lives a little easier with these tickets. So if you are the captain of a team and you're not in that server, please join that server now. Everyone else, you are free to join at any time. There are no social channels in there. It is strictly for tickets. So if you don't want to stay there, you don't have to. Join anytime you need to make a ticket. And once your ticket is resolved, you are free to leave the server or stay in there. That's your choice. That's about all on that ticket server thing. It's cool. Check it out. It's neat. Don't abuse it, please. We will kick you from the server if you decide to abuse it, so please don't do that. It's there for all of us to help you. I do want to mention, though, moderation side of things, everyone's team was turned inactive earlier this week. Season 4 starts tomorrow. This is Sunday, right? Yeah. Season 4 starts tomorrow. Matches will be generated precisely at around noon o'clock on Eastern time zone. So if your team is inactive at that time when the matches are generated, you will not receive your matches for the week. Your team has to be turned active. You can do that by visiting the My Teams page on the VRML website, which is vrmasterleague.com, and then checking the box that says is active and participating weekly. If that box is checked, you can look at the standings page and see that your team will no longer be grayed out. And if your team is not grayed out, you will receive matches every Monday that matches are generated. You will receive, as Dimly said, 2 matches per week. Those have to be played, and you will also receive 1 option to challenge another team of your choice if they're within your range. So turn your team active before tomorrow at noon Eastern time, because that is the time that matches are roughly generated at. Do it. Also, with the ticket server, this is an ongoing issue. It's not a huge issue, but all of us that deal with moderation, all of the governors especially, and all of the moderators especially, we have a lot to deal with. We have a lot of tickets that are opened. We have a lot of matches to pay attention to, a lot of scores to pay attention to, a lot of tournaments and rules and Discord and just all of it. It is a lot of work. It's a lot of hours that we put into this because we're passionate about the league. To reduce the amount of work that we need to do, please do not DM any VRML staff about VRML issues. If you have an issue that you need to bring up with one of us, please open a ticket. If you have a question about the league, please visit the Q&A channel or the Ask Here channel or the League Talk channel in the Echo Arena VRML server to ask your questions there. Please do not DM us about VRML things, because it's oftentimes the messages that we get are questions that are asked by a lot of people, and if you ask us in DMs, then we can tell you an answer, but that doesn't help anyone else. So please ask them in public, or if you need to open a ticket, do that. The tickets are also there to ensure that you get the right answer, because if you DM me and I give you an answer that is slightly incorrect because I was misinformed on my information, then you have now been misinformed by a VRML staff member, and that's just going to cause problems down the line. Open a ticket, please, or ask in public, so that we can make sure that there are multiple people with the eyes on that question, and we can ensure that the answer you get is the correct one. Yeah. Also, caster, creator, and moderator apps. If you are interested in becoming a moderator, a caster, or a creator, those applications are now going to remain open forever. If you are interested in applying, please do so. And anytime that we are looking to increase or add to our teams, we will check those and pull applicants from those and get you notified if you made the cut. So the moderator application and the caster creator application have both been posted in the announcements channel in Echo Arena VRML server previously. We will soon have those available, I believe, on the website. If not, we will certainly have those pinned somewhere in the channel, so you guys can access them whenever you need them. But they are in the announcements channel in the Echo Arena VRML server, so worst case scenario, you can search for them there. Yeah, that's about all I have. So, Palador.
All right,
Your turn.
hold on. I must drink. Tasty. All right. So yeah, thanks guys. Aeronite and Gilligan there from our moderation team, of course. With all the info on the season, we will get to our Q&A pretty shortly here. But yeah, on the casting end of things, I guess while we have everyone all here and stuff. First of all, thanks again for the subs and VIPs. Nadesh, DM me because I think I missed your message on who you want to redeem that for. But while we have you here, I also want to just put out there, if you enjoy VRML and I want to continue, supporting it, growing the community and growing the scene, aside of the bits and subs, which we definitely appreciate, just spread the word. Tune into some streams here and there. We stream pretty much every day during the season, almost without fail. I think in all of the 5-month-long season 3, there might have been only four days, not counting the break weeks. There might have been like 4 days, 5 days that we didn't stream a match. Otherwise, usually we have hours and hours of matches. So don't expect people to tune into everything, of course, because that's a lot of hours. But consider supporting it. We've grown exponentially from a league standpoint. We want to see that translate to some viewership as well. So we're going to try our best to stream as many teams as always as we can from all the different divisions, Master all the way through Bronze. We're going to get as many as we can. And yeah, hopefully, we put in the time and love to cast because we love it and we love seeing all the progression of teams. And hopefully, we can get that reciprocated on the stream. Don't only come when you're being streamed. Come to support the other teams that are also being streamed, right? Because that's how we all grow and start, or not start, but continue pushing this towards where we want it to be, and which is to say, big, happy, healthy, safe, and be good to each other league. It made sense all the way up until the end. Anyways, yeah, so tune in. We were very close to partnering last season with Twitch. We were just barely beneath that 70 viewer average. We hit a lot of master matches would get into one or 200 people viewing, but our average was just below in the, I think, low 60s throughout the season. So come support. Dimwy, anything you want to add to that on the casters/creators end, or shall we start the Q&A? Gilligan, another tier 1 sub. Anyway, yeah.
I want to say real quick, there's another reason to watch these casts is because if you want to improve, a great way to learn new strategy and learn new meta is to watch these casts. See what teams that are higher ranked than you are doing. See what teams that are lower ranked than you are doing, and learn from it. It's a great way to up your game. Learn new tricks.
Smooth Riding just upped his game a ton there. I'm feeling bad when we talk about community support, Smooth Riding. It's not about us making the community broke, man. Another 10 tier 1 subs, which makes mathematical time. I can't count it, but that's a lot of subs over the course of the stream. Thank you so much. Skinny is absolutely fired, even though I love him greatly. He is fired. Is that what you wanted me to say? Because I said it. Thanks a lot for the subs. Appreciate that a ton. All right, rip Skinny. Okay, yeah, Dimwy, was there anything you wanted to add casting or creative-wise, or should we start answering some questions here?
Nothing in particular, not at the moment.
Okay.
Do not ping the casters and ask them to cast your match. Don't do that. Please don't do that.
Or DM.
Please don't do that.
Or asking game.
Yeah, I mean, thing about that is, from a personal standpoint, I have a very hard time saying no. From a logistical standpoint, it's impossible to say yes to everyone who approaches. So, as our volunteer casters will, look to stream throughout the week, we definitely encourage them, and I try to do so by example as well. Streaming as many as we can. Channel 1 will usually be each night the prime times for our regions. Channel 1 will typically be focused on the Master and Diamond teams, or otherwise the best available matches, kind of the premier matches that feature the players who do and have put in like all that top level work for a very long time, of course. But in between, I love throwing in all the other ranks, Diamond through Bronze, in those streams. And otherwise, our overflow channels on VRML 2 and 3, where we also have frequently, especially at the end of last season, 2 or 3 channels running simultaneously each evening. So, yes.
DCB Oculus asking no more venues cast. We will still be casting in venues. You can check that out if you have a Quest or a Quest 2. You can join. It's basically like a what is it, like a big fancy movie theater type experience. So you can go in there and interact with other people in real time while you're watching the games. We will be casting on venues more this season.
Another question also related to casters I saw a while back, asking, are casters supposed to be like the referees or of sorts like that in matches? No, definitely not. And unless they happen to also be mods, sure. But by default, casters are just casters. They don't have the authority to tell teams to do one thing or the other. They can, clarify things and such for the streams or little things like that. But as far as any kind of official decision making, anything that gets said by a caster is not official in terms of rules and enforcing those rules. You do have to contact mods via the support system. See, will there be any VRML lands? Says Inky. That's a hope for sure. I know we had that Redshift community LAN contender series just about a month ago. I will say when I joined VRML, my biggest goal, like long-term goal I said, was I want to get a LAN back into Echo and back into VRML. But I think what the Redshift series proved, and shout out to Sputnik, huge credit for that, it's very possible for community to do that now thanks to the Quest. All you need is a locale.
Casters, would you mind to explain how you choose the games that you cast?
Sure. So, again, for our primetime shows on Channel 1, we'll typically go with the best available matches in terms of rank and hype. On the website, you'll notice next to the matches on the far right side, on the match page, or maybe in the mid side, somewhere around there, you have arrows for connoisseur votes, kind of to choose who wins a match, who you think will win a match. But there's also an arrow that's a hype vote. And when teams vote on those things, I can promise you they do matter, especially like when me or myself or Dimwee or anyone else is looking for their matches. We will look at the match page. We'll kind of scan how many hype votes a match has and kind of work our schedule around there. Now, note that is not a guarantee. It does not mean just because a match has a lot of votes doesn't mean it will definitely be cast. But 100% guarantee it does factor into the equation. So we also consider stuff like how often a team has been streamed recently. We consider things like if they have been streamed at all, for that matter. We compare the hype votes relative to the other matches surrounding that time slot and see how many hype votes those matches have. And there's a variety of things. And also just caster preference also to a degree. Like I said, we encourage, but we're also all volunteers and kind of doing it in our free time. And vast majority of our casters are also active players in the league. So it's a heavy mix. Dimwee and myself are casters only at this point, and we will always do our best to promote and hype all you guys from every single rank. But yeah, hopefully that covers it.
Yeah, and 90 Appleton saying, what's a hype vote number you consider cast worthy? There's not a specific number. It's more about what's relevant to the ones, or what's relative to the ones around it.
Exactly.
At the time.
Yeah, it's relative. So if one game in a series in a slot has 10 votes, but there's another one with 15 votes, and there's only one or two casters available to do that, they'll probably go with the one with 15, for instance. Likewise, if matches are getting less than 8 votes, what that tells a caster, even though it might not be true, but just to explain the mentality, if I see a match, okay, this one only has 2 votes, that means not even all 8 people who are playing in that match actually care enough to be casted. Now, does it mean that? No, of course not. But I'm just saying, when you have others on the list that have dozens of votes, I have to pay attention to those, for instance. So use the system. It's not a guarantee, but it is a guarantee that I'll look at it and factor it in more so than the others. And VIP to Cosmic. Gotcha, Dash. Sure thing.
Also on the website, we should probably mention, you can go to the website and look at the matches that are going to be played, and you can predict who's going to win those with the connoisseur votes, and those, if you're the most accurate predictor, those stats are on the website as well. So that's a little fun way to interact with matches on the website outside of Discord and the cast themselves. That is different. That is different than the prediction polls that happen in Twitch chat.
I'll throw this one over. I don't think we addressed this. Did we? From Smooth Raiden asking a clarification again. Maybe I'll throw this to Arrow Knight on the timeout changes this season.
Yeah, so it's the same number of timeouts per team. You still have one timeout you can take any time during the match, and you can extend the time between rounds up to 5 minutes. It's just you can take that timeout for any reason. It doesn't have to be a tech issue to take the timeout. So
Okay.
the number of timeouts has not changed.
And that was basically unofficially kind of how it was anyways last season. So,
Yes.
you know.
Hence why the rule was changed.
Yeah.
We didn't want people to have to fake tech issues every time they wanted to take a timeout.
Yeah.
Wait Draco asking, if the game isn't being casted, how do you get the credit for the game? I assume they're asking about credit for the badges. The matches have to be scheduled via the website, and once it's scheduled and played, if you're on the roster of the team at the time the match is played, you get credit for that match. As well, if you're a substitute and you sub in for that game, when the captains report their scores, they can indicate which substitute was used in that match, and that will give the substitute credit for the game. So it doesn't matter if the game is cast, you get credit if you are rostered on the team or playing as a league substitute in that match.
Yeah, and just in case the question might have also been just if it's not being streamed, how is it? Is it still official, or how do you have to, the players themselves, you have to keep track of the scores. And that's why we do recommend and allow people to record from their own perspective, for instance, or if a match is not being officially streamed by a VRML caster, then teams are also allowed, if both teams, all players agree to it, are allowed to bring in a spectator to record and spec view. But again, there's caveats with that, of course, to consider the fact that ghosting or coaching from the sidelines. So it's one of those things where we understand there's a ton of teams, and people do want to be able to actually get a view on their whole match perspective beyond just the first person. So that's why we have that kind of exception. If it's agreed upon teams and it's not being casted by VRML already, you can do that, but everyone does have to agree. Otherwise, there's issues. But yes, if you're not being casted, just keep track of these scores on your own accord. Write them down between rounds, or otherwise have a recording even just from first person, so you're able to cite the scores later on.
Yeah, and we, from the moderation side of things, we encourage everyone to record their matches, even if it's just their POV. If you open a ticket and report an issue, but you don't have any evidence other than he said, she said, we can't really act on that. We need evidence. So if you think that something happened in match that is reportable, that's the time that your video recording will come in handy. So
Yeah.
we encourage you. You're not required to record your matches, but we strongly encourage it just for your own insurance, if you will.
I want to address real quick, just real quick. First of all, congratulations, Everest and Martin III, for advancing to the Master Tier. Well deserved. Number 2. Now look, I understand faking tech issues, all that stuff, Eclipse, haha. I get it. You can't trust Leving. You can't trust Sivian. You can't trust Lightshine. I don't trust any of them. They're shady people. You can trust me. Our issues weren't fake. Promise. Okay, anyways, moving on.
So I saw a couple of questions to address. Echo replay files, it's easier if you open it up in the replay file yourself and send us a clip rather than sending us the entire replay. But yes, replay files are acceptable form of evidence of what occurred in the match. And I saw a question about how long AP will last for. It'll be 6 months from the time of your infraction. So each time you're assigned points, those points will have a 6-month timer on them before they go away.
And again, the specifics of the AP system will be released. We're hoping later this week, but the specifics aren't published yet. They still need finalized. They're almost there. However, if you play a match tomorrow and an infraction occurs that would give you points based on that system, even though the system is not public yet, you will still get those points retroactively once the system is finalized. It is going into effect tomorrow morning. is not published yet because we don't have the finalized version of it ready to be published, but it is there and it will be used starting tomorrow.
Thanks, Martin, for the 100 bits there, also. And are we? What's our time? Well, we're in all
Another
across the
5
U.S., but we're always tired. At least I am. That's okay. Once game starts and stuff, we're always hyped. To answer your question.
You can switch out different roster players during a round, but you have to, if you ever have more than 4 members in the match while the game clock is running, that is a violation. So have your player that you want to switch out leave before inviting the other player that you want to replace them.
Just to address some of the comments in the chat, some folks have questioned why I drink coffee when I'm casting in the evening. This is why.
Fair enough. And
Yep.
maybe you'd be more awake if you had some Dr. Pepper. It's a process, ladies and gents. I will convert Dimwee to Dr. Pepper before the end of this season. I already got him to like beef jerky. Dr. Pepper is soon to follow. Don't worry.
As far as bots to record matches, yes, you are allowed to use a bot, but only if the other team agrees. You are not allowed to pressure them in any way. If you do, that is a rule violation. But if you ask, can I use a spectator bot to record this match, and they say yes, you can use a bot to record your match.
There are no spectators allowed if VRML is casting the match other than VRML personnel.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. What I said only applies to non-casted matches. If it is casted, you are not allowed to have anything else in spectator.
Yeah. Okay, any other questions from you guys before we start wrapping up here pretty shortly? Remember, we do have the North American branch of the qualifier cups for Master Tier starting in an hour and a half from now. So,
Hour and a half.
yeah, it's going to be fun. Got 3 matches on 3 channels, so do the math. It's 9.
It's like yes, you do need permission for any spectator at any time. The starting recording them is not looking for ping issues, because you can always and you should always record your personal POV, but if you want to have a spectator bot, you always need permission.
Yeah.
Acon 302, no more than 4 players in the game at any time while the game clock is running, period.
Also correct. And yeah, I was just telling Dimwee there and beforehand, by the way. Torque, I think that's your name. Pretty sure you'd be surprised. 1, I haven't played in a long time, and 2, even Gilligan was talking about goalie versus goalie, this and that. Dimwee is easily, even at my peak, he was a much better goalie than I was. I don't know where I get the reputation that I was a defender. I was midfielder, but anyway. It's been a while.
I thought that either. When you said that, I was like,
Well,
yeah, why did I say that?
Look, technically I was the but neither here nor there. Dimwee was the one playing the Caster Mod Cup, not me, for a reason. Some reasons.
Oh, I watched Dimwee whiff an open 2 at the end of a round in that caster mod. It might be pretty close to 1v1.
Well, I mean, I saw that too. I got up right close to the, right up in his...
You and like 60 or 70 other people who saw that clip, that is the top clip from that broadcast, saw that whiff too there.
Yeah, for the
Really?
entire weekend.
Clip. There were so many other great moments.
The form is beautiful though. I mean, my form is it's gorgeous. I get the soft release and all, and then it just ding.
Those
Yeah,
caster
well-
versus mod matches were a lot of fun, especially with the hype building up to the NA match. After the OC match, the mods won, and then the EU match, the casters won, and so it was like, who's gonna win the NA match to close it out? And then the NA, Sir Dimwee and Sir Drimbitsky going at it all day in the public chats just to build that rivalry. That was the most fun I've ever had casting, I think, and I was very bad at staying unbiased, but it was a lot of fun.
On that
It
note,
was great
actually,
fun to play too.
on that note, with stuff like that, I mean, cheers to Gilligan for putting that together. For you guys watching at home and who are involved in VRML or just the scene in general, again, we do those off-season polls as well to gauge interest in community ideas and different concepts for the league. Same thing applies even for these other kinds of events. I mean, if you guys have input, make it known. I'm not promising things will always be instant, but if you like having, for instance, those kind of off-season cups like that, you can do more of that. If you guys want more stuff like this, just kind of a little panel where we can chat, Q&A, and have fun, and hand out subs, and I could write on my whiteboard. We can do more of this. It's fun times. Hair tutorials, maybe. Nothing special. Don't shower. That's the key. I just exposed myself. Anyway, anything else from the Twitch chat there?
Yes, it is allowed to switch teams to talk to the other team until ability to chat during pauses in another way. But yes, you are allowed to switch teams to inform the other team of what is going on. Just promptly switch back. But yes, you can go tell them what's going on.
All right. So it looks like, unless they missed too much, agreed on Affenter. He is big human, big heart. Love the guy. But unless there's anything else you want to get answered here, we'll probably close off and we'll prepare for our North American matches in another hour and a half. And of course, Season 4, starting, when, Dimwee? May 15th, 16th?
No.
16, 17.
Tomorrow. And I am fine. Guys, I'm literally I'm just a little tired. That's all. Nothing. Everything is fine. There's nothing to be concerned about. It's been a long weekend, and I'm ready for a long week. Let's do this. I'm ready to get into Season 4.
All right. Well, I think with that, looks like our questions are expended, and so are we on this stream. Just kidding. It's been fun, guys. Thanks again, everyone, including Gilligan himself, for an awful lot of subs as well. But a lot of people coming in, smooth ride, and again with a lot of those subs we had. Palador gifted 2 subs. When did that happen? As well.
First subs you've gifted to this channel.
Yeah, was it really? I guess so, huh?
It had the little notification. Yeah, it said it was the first time you've done it.
Yeah, well, I'm not on my Palador account all too often. Not that I'm in any other accounts either. And of course, Naptime, who gave, I don't know how many dozens of subs. That was awesome. Egret as well with 20 at once. AXN. And yeah, that a lot of hype and a lot of bits as well from a bunch of people. Again, I appreciate that so much. And if you can't donate or cheer or sub, perfectly okay. Just tune in to the streams every now and then. And honestly, that'll make me happier than anything. But until then... Yeah, go ahead.
Say real quick, Smooth Riding in the chat saying don't do it, because he knows that him and I are trying to one up each other. Smooth, I gotta say, man, I've gifted out a bunch of subs individually during this stream. I think my credit card got flagged because I just tried to gift more subs and it won't let me. So I gotta call my credit card company after this and tell them that it's okay. It was really me. So you're lucky. Boy. You get away with it this time.
Well, in that case, I can officially declare, Smooth Riding, you have won the war against Gilligan. Welcome to Season 4. Gilligan quits, apply to be a mod today. All right, so, everyone, I've been Palador, that's been Sir Dimwee, that's Gilligan and Arrow Knight on the other side, doing quite all right, and into Season 4 we go. Be happy, healthy, safe, and good for each other, and I'll have new credits real soon, so this is just going to be a really awkward ending. See ya.